Spiritual heart.
Think of Irish music, and there's one sound that comes readily to mind. That of the haunting Ellen pipes. For one man who makes them, the pipes and the wistful music they make has been a sort of salvation.
When you hear the music, it kind of conjures up images of Ireland and your land, your fields and turf fires and must and mudsies. A lot of the music in Ireland has tragedy behind it, and there's lament and there's sadness. It conjures that up for you. The whole set would sit sort of across your lap, like this, and you're playing the chanter. This is the thing you hear the main melody on. You move on then, and this set has 4 drones. They would be the kind of ghosty noise you hear in the background. I suppose, in a way, you could say they rescued me, my salvation.
Martin's story holds a mirror to Ireland's recent past. During the boom of the mid-2000s, he worked in his local town as an architect.
Everything was brilliant. Everybody had loads of work. Prospects were good. Everything was in the up. And then, basically overnight, it stopped and dropped. Businesses left, right and centre were going bankrupt. There were dark times.
Martin was out of work for a year, and then a stroke of good fortune. He gave a lift to a friend who taught the pipes, and that was it. Within days, he'd borrowed an instrument and started learning.
After about a year, I decided I was going to have to get my own set. And when I found out the price of them, there was no way I could have justified spending thousands on basically a hobby. So I decided I would have a stab at making my own set. And that was 8 years ago. And I still haven't made my own set. I've made 4, but they always end up they get sold when somebody hears them.
Now, using wood from local trees where he can, Martin crafts Ellen pipes full-time from a workshop in his garden.
It's very, very, very complicated. The Irish like to suffer. And this is a true meaning of suffering, this instrument. You can't get them warm, you can't get them cold, you can't get them wet. They're like gremlins, they're just nightmarish wee things.
Martin was new to Ellen pipes, but not to Irish tunes. His dad was a member of a band playing traditional music, touring the country at weekends.
When you hear the music, with trad music or traditional music, it would take you back to your childhood. We spent our days bonfires and building forts and digging holes, and we had no phones, there was no electronics or computers. That was my childhood.
It was a time of freedom for Martin, but just 2 miles from the Idyll where he played, things were far from peaceful.
One of the games we would have played would have been like army. You'd been running about fields pretending you were soldiers, and not a mile away there actually were soldiers camped out on fields that we would have been playing on, but we were totally innocent. We didn't know. My parents did a very good job of keeping us sheltered from the whole thing.
Yet through it all, the music played on.
A full set playing in tune in the right hands. It's like a hive of bees. It's that sort of droning, humming, buzzing sound, and then with a melody over the top, in the right hands. In the wrong hands, it's like a cat being kicked. The biggest reward in this would be when you see someone play on a set that you spent maybe average about 6 months making a set. It kind of becomes part of you for a long time, and then you're kind of sad to see it leave the workshop, but the reward comes when you hear the music at the end.